What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the NFL All Day Football Show. We got a fun one for us today. We're going to talk some big picture all day, some Rumble, some Jolly Jokers, and you're going to get a basketball intro. Deal with it.
Well, the top side streets are a dangerous place, so you better tune in to a credible face like this one. Yeah, this one. And you know he's not alone, and they're coming in hot. We got a Lake So Stan and a guy who really likes baseball. I don't know why he likes baseball.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Good to see a lot of the same faces in here. See JK's Airplane Mode, Strictly Sport. Travis Daniels, new show, new plane. Like to see that you're still traveling and that you still have access to not only Wi-Fi, but Wi-Fi that allows you to stream. I feel like that's hard to come by. That is hard to come by. I'm excited to let's just get into it. We're going to bring TJ on from Own the Moment. We got a lot of fun stuff to do today. TJ, what's going on, man?
Hey, good to be back.
Good to have you back. Yeah, in a planned sense, outside of I can't remember what day that was, Thursday or Friday last week, where we had an impromptu hang.
Oh yes, yeah, that was fun. Little I had you was listening, heard you guys talking. I was like, I'll jump on real quick and give a little.
Clearly, we needed some help. So it was useful. Yeah, I'm excited we're going to talk about the Joker. I know you guys announced the Jolly Joker mint date, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the perks, like with the different Rumble contests, but also the premium. We'll get into all of that in a little bit. But I feel like there's been, a lot of buzz around NFL all day, both like positive and some like constructive stuff. And I know with yesterday, we had a long pack drop. Both like with not a lot of moments, but moments coming into the ecosystem on top of it taking a while. I don't know. I feel like we're just seeing a little bit more chatter around the all day product.
Yeah, I think it's about the time where it makes sense for this to be happening, right? Like the first 3 weeks, say, of the season, it was in kind of the, not to such an extreme, but the early Top Shot days where it's just like everyone's account valuations were going up. Yep. All day team could do no wrong. This is the greatest thing ever. And that wasn't going to last forever and hasn't lasted forever. We've seen a bit of a correction. Everyone has their opinions on the collectible versus gamification kind of debate. I actually wrote my new thing is that I'm a Twitter thread guy now. So I wrote a little Twitter thread about that the other day. Going to be doing some more of that in the future.
Do you feel different? Do you feel different now that you're a thread guy?
Yeah, I just wake up every day feeling like got the MBL vibes. But I was actually talking with MBL privately offline about my thread, and he was like, I don't want to debate this publicly because then it's just gonna waste a day of my life because of all the angry replies that I'll get. And I was like, I understand. I'll just get your honest opinions offline instead of in front of the whole world.
He's so funny.
But yeah, man, it's look, it's tough. I think in both Top Shot and in all day, the biggest issue, if you will, is that the lack of high level user growth. And I mean, I think it's just something that is not going to happen in a day or a week or a month or even in one season. Like that's really what I've come around to is like somewhere along the line, our expectations got really warped into like, oh, mass adoption of Web3 and NFTs is going to happen like this month. And all of a sudden everyone's going to be into it. And I think we need to look at it more as like a multi-year process. And I know that kind of sucks, but like it's also, if you zoom out a little bit, it's going to make you feel better on a day-to-day basis, because it's not just going to snap of the fingers. Everyone in the world is on NFL all day and everything's great. It's going to take time.
Right. I think the tricky thing that they run into, with a lot of these products, whether it's Top Shot, All Day Strike, whatever, is that they have a commitment or a requirement to continue to make the product. Right. They're not going to just like stop making the product. They might adjust the prices of the product, but that also adjusts the price of the moments in the marketplace. Right. So just because the premium pack went down from 219 or from 299 to 219 to 99, that's not only is that like nice because you're like, okay, good, I'm not just eating a huge L, but then everyone else knows that, so that it changes the price of the moment. So even though it is still the right thing to do, and I'm not like, trust me, I'm not like complaining about that, but it overall like affects the market similarly. And yeah, I just think it's going to continue to be this hype and then a slow bleed. And I think what has separated All Day, or what has made All Day a little bit different, is this, in the way that they have gamified it from like the fantasy aspect of it, is, there's like things to do, and it feels fun. And there's like, in the true sense of gamification, right? You're like doing things to achieve things to then move on to the next thing. And I think that is kind of keeping it afloat a little bit. But we started to see like the murmurs of like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing pack drops every 2 weeks. And like, yeah, of course. And I'm sure they know that inside as well, but probably not an option that they have, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to. Yeah, they're not just gonna like not have any packs for the next season, right? And yeah, it's really a tricky balance. I think overall the All Day team though has done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of the playbook since day one. I think it adds, like you said, a lot of fun engagement thing to do on a weekly basis. I like that it provides kind of that weekly structure.
Yeah.
And for the power users, it's become a part of their weekly routine, which is very common with football in general, fantasy football and season long leagues, DFS, all of that stuff. But yeah, and we'll see. It's just it's going to take some time, and I wish I knew like what the big thing is going to be that sparks the next wave. I think this is definitely a longer term thing, but something I've always been bullish on is the idea of like NFT ticketing, or just connecting it to like the in real life fan experience in some.
Right.
Like I think that's something that in the future can spark like the next big wave of mass adoption, but definitely not happening anytime soon. And
No,
it's going to happen anytime soon. Like we're just not we're not ready for that. And so I think as much as we can keep engaged with the user base we have now and set the foundation, I think that's really the way I look at it.
Yeah, and I do think it's been a healthier up and down for All Day than, like, we haven't seen the massive swings. Like the first couple of weeks of the season with Playbook, it was definitely going up because there weren't a ton of moments, and now that more moments are coming into the ecosystem, and it feels like they're bringing them out in a responsible way. Like it doesn't feel like, yes, pack drops are coming every 2 weeks. I think yesterday was the first time where I was like, oh wow, you can really go through the line like 3 or 4 times. And that was the first indicator of like, okay, maybe we are now at that point where, like, if we could pump the brakes, it'd be great to pump the brakes. But again, easy to say that from here, from this lens, it's easy to say that. But again, yeah, just saw it on Twitter today and I was like, okay, here we are. We know how to react. There was a lot of really fun replies to some people who have only been in the All Day streets being like, all right, maybe instead of packs every 2 weeks, we do every 4 weeks. And then like the replies are just like, first time, this is like the first time here gif. But yeah, like of course we would like that, but that's not how it's gonna run. So
yeah, it's like tough to find that tricky balance of like, the running a business like Dapper is trying to do, and they've got all kinds of pressure from the leagues to, I'm sure, to make the leagues money and to prove that this thing is worthwhile, like financially, but then also keep the customers happy at the same time. I think that's the biggest struggle in general in the space. And one of the things that I've been saying is like, we really haven't seen like a new business model that's sustainable evolve in this space. Like in my mind, we've seen one of two things. We've seen glorified Ponzi schemes where it's basically just like Ponzi-nomics until that falls apart. And like, we've seen that happen even with massive projects like Axie Infinity and STEPN, that were like great at one point. They all fall apart eventually, again, because of lack of new user growth. And then number two is basically just like profiting off of big name IP, which is
Right.
what we see with Top Shot and All Day and things like Autograph and all of that. But then it's like beyond that, like we don't have sustainable business models yet that work for both the companies and for the customers. And I think that's really what is needed, because we're seeing like the extreme spikes, and you know, things appear to be really successful to start and then it never sustains over time.
Right.
So it's definitely a tough challenge.
Yeah. I will say, like, to continue to, and that's more of like the economic side of things. I mean, I think the onboarding experience is pretty solid for new All Day members, whether it's for using Rumble, which we can talk about in a second, or Playbook or whatever. Like, I feel like it seems to be a little bit easier to get involved in it, which is a good sign. We like that. We do like that. I'm hopeful too that's, you know, it continues to get easier. We're continuing to see other people, like, oh, who's doing, I saw someone doing a camp, or like Richard Sherman posted something. I know it's a paid partnership too, but just good to continue to see it. I like to be normalized a little bit more, you know?
Agreed. Yeah, that's I've been thinking a lot about that normalization by the athletes actually. And you know, we saw it with Top Shot and that Cade Cunningham video that they did. I think a lot, like, we've seen a lot of the younger athletes, I feel like, really embrace this in what feels like, at least feels like, a more organic way. And that makes me feel good about, like, you know, over the next 5-year period, right? When it's like the people that are the rookies now are 5 years into their career, and then we're constantly getting younger people into the leagues.
Yeah.
So I think it becomes kind of more a part of the athlete experience in the future. Whereas like right now, the people that have been in the league for a decade, like, they have the money that they've made. They have whatever endorsements they're making on the side. Like, they're probably not really looking for something new at this point. Whereas going forward, from like an athlete's perspective, like from day one of their professional careers, this should and hopefully will be a part of like their kind of personal athlete business strategy outside of their on the field or on the court play.
Yeah.
That's my hope as well.
No, I love that. I love that. I think that's dead on. Also, Big Ticket with a funny comment saying, I heard Dan Marino is going on Conan, which is a funny comment. A plus, Big Ticket. Yeah, let's talk a little bit.
I was so shocked. I was not expecting that Magic. Like, I was just like sitting around late night on Twitter, and I was like, oh, this is kind of like, this is fun. And I've heard your takes on it, and I definitely agree. Like,
yeah,
just enjoy it. Like, that was cool. It doesn't need to lead to like 1 million new users, and it's not going to. But like, it's cool, and it's nice, and it's cool. And again, it just normalizes it.
Exactly. To me, that's exactly right. Top Shot Tony tweeted out today, because Live Token announced that there were 32 new users this past week. So I had quote tweeted it with the Magic performance and like the number 32, because that was his number. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, yeah, that's not, like you said, it's not going to happen overnight, and they probably don't have the infrastructure built for it to happen overnight either. You know, I mean, we've seen what happens when something like that blows up in such a short amount of time. So yeah, it's going to be an ongoing conversation that at least I would say it's a little bit easier to have now than say it was, I don't know, this time last year or whenever in April of that year of NBA Top Shot, you know? But yeah, let's talk about a Rumble a little bit, because I feel like that's been a constant point of like excitement for people who are in there, and whether you're doing the playbook or not. I think everybody on like Thursday and then again on Saturday or Sunday morning are like diving into the Rumble streets. How has that been going for you guys on your end? I know last week we had that exciting prize pool double up there where it moved up to 20K instead of the 10K. How's it been on your end?
Yeah, it's been a ton of fun. Definitely ton of positive feedback from the community. People really enjoying the game, really enjoying the experience. I think we've seen over 9,000 unique people enter the contest over the 5 weeks, which is a nice number. We've obviously never had that many enter in the same week, but have seen, you know, a good, like, we're looking at the numbers behind the scenes on like week over week retention or new users, net new users each week. So yeah, we've had over 9,000 total, which I think is great. Yeah, tested out with the double prize pool last week. I think what we saw is that we got a slight uptick in how many people entered, not a massive one, but it did feel like engagement was stronger. It actually, like, our site crashed. people probably noticed, because there were like definitely more people on the site, like refreshing, probably because there's
Right.
more people that are closer to maybe cashing or maybe getting a big cash.
Right.
So like could definitely sense that the engagement was higher, which was great. Yeah, so Rumble's been awesome. It's super fun. We're excited to be kind of taking the next step with some of the Joker contests that we're going to be running. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like proof of concept was kind of this 1 week contest, and now we're just thinking through, well, how can we dive further into this in a way that's fun for all of the users and also like makes sense for OTM as a business.
Yeah, as we start to pivot to some of the Joker conversation with Rumble real quick. Yeah, for you to say like almost 9,000, what's really impressive about that is I feel like what was there like 15,000 that participated in the drop yesterday,
Yeah.
15.7 or something like that. So for it to, I mean, for that to be over 50% of, I would imagine
Yep.
the active user base to be willing to like mess around with Rumble is a really good sign. And I imagine as all day grows, so does Rumble.
Yeah, for sure. And the hope is also that as things mature in the future, that the all day team directly can like promote Rumble and link
Mhm.
to it and talk about it. That's not currently the case,
Yeah.
but definitely hopeful in the future that our ideal goal is that entering the Rumble contest is part of the playbook. Like you
Right.
enter Rumble, get 5 yards, cash in Rumble, get 15 yards or,
Man,
or,
I
or
love
something
that.
like that. Right. So
Yeah.
I think that's eventually where we'll get. May not be this season, but
Yeah.
future
Man,
for sure.
the idea of a yardage boost, not only like kind of like lining up for the queue got you 5 yards that 1 week, but I love the idea of like entering gets you a couple of yards, and then if you
Yeah.
actually cash, you get some more yardage. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that a
it's like
lot.
encourage the baseline free interactions to start,
Yeah.
and then from there, yeah, I like that. I like the range of things that they've had in the playbook, right? Like you said, as simple as logging in or joining the queue, and as complex as a challenge that may cost a couple $100 when it's all said and done. But like
Right. I
give
the
the option.
playbook has been great. In just in the sense that it's been good for people who have been around for a little bit. It's easy to understand if you're new. There's ways to earn stuff without having to burn stuff, which I think can be an overwhelming concept if you are a new user. I agree. I love what they've been tweaking with it. I know not everyone is going to feel like a home run, and sometimes people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's just too easy, or it's just too hard, or whatever." But I think that's what's good about it. Like it should be kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I think
One of the
one thing I've a thought about the playbook that I'm
Mm,
curious here. So or question or okay, yeah, people will get like mad about whatever the challenge ends up being, right?
yeah,
And there ends up being a bottleneck or this or that. And I don't know this for sure one way or the other, but my thought is that like Dapper's setting this far in advance. Like
right.
it's not like Wednesday night and they're like, what should we do for the challenge tomorrow night based on the players? Like my thought is that right now the week 8 challenge is already defined and coded in their system.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
that's
I think people that think it's being like manipulated, I don't think that's how it works, in my
that
opinion.
that's where I think I said this last week or 2 weeks ago, where my guess, and it's just a guess, I have no idea, is that they probably planned out the first 8 weeks of the playbook, and then they were like, "Yeah, we'll make tweaks as necessary if we have to."
Yeah,
But I do think people had that concern of what you just mentioned, and I think their response was like, "Fine, here you go, Thursday. Here's all
yeah.
the info you need to know."
I
Um,
love them. I love them doing that. We were actually talking about that internally at OTM. Of like, ooh, they should really announce them ahead of time. I think we saw was it John maybe that
I
had
think
tweeted
so.
about that too.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that was a great move by them. And like another thing that I love is rapidly reacting to the feedback. And I think that's
Yeah.
something that we've seen from the all day team, which is great.
Yeah, and it seems like they're in a useful way they're reacting to it, not necessarily just being like, "All right, whatever you say, we're going to do this." It seems like they're, they shouldn't be getting credit for this, but I'm like, it seems like they're looking through the feedback critically and are being like, "Okay, this is actually, maybe we can tweak this a little bit and make a move with it," which I like. Again, you probably shouldn't get pat on the
Baseline
back.
expectations. Yeah,
I
right.
know.
Like it's like, oh, this
I
is
know.
amazing.
Strictly Sports said, like the wording could be a little bit more clear. Yeah, I remember there was an issue with that with like the assists or a solo tackle that 1 week, and then they addressed that like right after. One other thing that I thought of while you were talking about like whether they're too hard or they're too easy. It reminds me of, I also saw Sean in the chat, who Storm and Pinball, who comes to trivia when I host it sometimes. But when you host trivia, if there's a question that's really hard, everyone gets pissed off. And then if there's a question that's really easy, everybody gets pissed off. And I always think that's so funny. And it'll happen like in the same round. We're like, oh, are you kidding me, dude? That's so easy. And I'm like, oh, you're mad you're achieving your goals right now?
Yeah,
like, that's
right.
the one fucking reason why you came here, was to get questions right. And you're mad you got it right. So that's always my favorite thing. And it didn't dawn on me until right now. We're like, that's exactly how people react to those challenges. Like, oh, it's too easy. It's too hard. It's stupid.
It really is. It really is. That's too funny.
Let's talk the Jokers a little bit with it, and kind of give us like the basic rundown of just kind of like the details of Mint and everything, and we can talk about how it impacts the premium, and then get into the Rumble contest a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's do it. So Jolly Jokers will be minting next week. Happens in 3 phases. So we have pre-order, whitelist, and public.
Mm-hmm.
The pre-order mint is for anyone that had sent in their 5 Top Shot moments or burned their TOC card. That happened a while back. Whitelist, there's a variety of ways that people can get on the whitelist. There will continue to be between now and Wednesday, and then public open to anyone. So next Monday, October 17th, 1 p.m. Eastern time, that's when the pre-order mint will open. That'll be open for 48 hours. Then on Wednesday, same time, 1 p.m. Eastern, that's when the whitelist mint will open. And then on Thursday, again, 1 p.m. Eastern, public mint will open there.
Awesome.
Collection size of 5,000. Flow blockchain, Dapper Wallet integration. So you can go in, buy with your Dapper Wallet, Dapper Balance, just like you would purchase an all day or a Top Shot moment. And then the mint price is $299, and then comes with a couple pieces of utility. The kind of first of which is access to OTM Premium. So can kind of walk through that. So OTM Premium is going to be going live November 1st, which is 2 weeks after the Jolly Jokers mint. So that means that the more advanced features, basically anything on the website right now that has that purple P,
I'm just gonna
will
pull
be going
that up
behind.
right now.
Oh yeah, perfect.
So like if
Will
you
be,
see here,
yep.
you got like even if you're just looking at the market, you can see like the players here, which is something that's coming soon. It's going to be in premium. Circulation, which is under premium, and then you also see challenges. The sniper, which I know is a feature that I think the sniper, the challenges, and the flash challenge terminal are probably like the 3 things people like come to use the site the most on, right?
Agreed. Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. And it's been a long time coming for us. We've been operating the website 100% free for almost a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And we feel internally that the tools are certainly valuable, and hope that the community feels the same way. And for the $299 Joker mint price, you get lifetime access to both Top Shot and to All Day.
Yeah.
Outside of that, there's also going to be a standard subscription option where you can sign up for a weekly, monthly, or annual subscription. The annual subscription price is $200. There will be a 1-week early bird special for $150. But for anyone that, is an active user of the website and doesn't see that changing, the Joker's definitely a nice deal relative to the subscription price.
Yeah, I've said this a couple of times, like whether you're I don't know, I feel like in this market, it's hard to scoop NFTs thinking about the secondary sales on these types of things right now. Not just Jokers. I just mean like the space in general right now is a little wild, right? But if you are someone that uses premium and are planning to continue using premium, like if there was no Jokers and it was just like you had to pay for the subscription and you were planning on using it for the long term, to me, then it do whatever you want. But to me, that makes no sense. I mean, that makes the most sense. Like that, if the premium, it's going to pay for itself like almost immediately. So I love that. I love that is, and we've talked about this before. I don't know if on stream or offline, but coming from like the fantasy sports world, I mean, it made that's all we did was pay for a subscription. Like I'm still paying multiple different ones, I think. So It makes, to me, this is a step in the right direction.
Yeah. And the kind of concept too of like the token gated subscription-y type of ideas, I think is pretty cool, and something that I think we'll see more of in the future. I mean, we talked about how Web3 is lacking a business model. I think business models where you basically log in with your digital wallet and get access to private content, I'm pretty bullish on that overall, just from like a an industry perspective. And yeah, so how that'll work, you just connect your wallet like you do on the OTM site today. We verify that you own the Joker. That gets you access to the behind paywall stuff. So yeah, we have that. And then we also have the Rumble mint incentive, which I can talk about here. And we actually we tweaked one. I don't know if you saw this, but since the last time we spoke, we tweaked an aspect of the extra point contest after some feedback that it was far too advantageous to the multi-minters, which I do think was valid.
Yeah. Talk us through it.
Yeah. So we are going to have 3 contests. So for minting Jolly Jokers, you then get access to a separate private Rumble contest that is going to be a cumulative week-over-week contest. So we don't have an exact date for when this was launched yet. I think around week 10 is probably the target. So give it about an 8-week contest. And then there's 3 different contests with a total of $100,000 in prizes. And then based on how many Jolly Jokers you mint, you get a different number of entries and also access to different contests. So there's 3 contests: the extra point, the field goal, and the touchdown. And then the kind of 3 key thresholds are minting 1 Joker, 3 Jokers, and 6 Jokers. So kind of aligns there.
And I remember when you were on last time too, you're talking about the prize pool for the, I mean, I'm sure you're about to go over it now, but the one, if you were minting 3, that prize pool was pretty juicy.
Correct. Yeah, minting 3 is $50,000. I actually have I can share this little graphic.
Yeah,
maybe. Might be helpful. Let me share that. Yeah. So correct. So $100,000 total for the extra point contest. It's $30,000 in prizes. How this works is that for every Joker you mint, you get an additional entry. So if you mint 1 Jolly Joker, you just get 1 entry to this. You create your lineup every week. Your score accumulates over time. Whoever scores the most total points wins. And then if you mint, say, 5 Jolly Jokers, then you would get 5 entries into the extra point. And the thing that changed from the very, very original one is that will just be 5 different lineups that accumulate over the season. So you'd basically have like Mike Zakarian 1, Mike Zakarian 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And so then you have the first week, Mike Zakarian 3 scores the most points for you. But then next week you are building your lineup like on top of that. Right. So whatever your Mike Zakarian 3 is, now you're creating a new lineup on top of it. And then whatever that is gets added to the 3. Previously, we had talked about taking the best of each. And people said that would be a pretty massive advantage. So I think the way that we turned out is better.
Yeah, you'd be getting more shots on goal there for that. Yeah. Man, that's a lot of fun. I did have one question. So you can you only use your moment one time in those lineups?
Yeah. So yes, for the extra point. So the extra point is going to be the only multi-entry contest right now, at least that Rumble has. And so within that one contest, you can only use each moment one time. So if I have one Justin Jefferson moment, I can only use that in one of my extra point lineups. I can still use it in the main Rumble contest and in the extra point and in the field goal and in the touchdown. But within the extra point, I can't use it like 6 different times in the same contest.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense. That does make sense. Man, I'm excited about that. I am excited. More Rumble contests, the better. That's kind of where
it's gonna be fun. And then the field goal and the touchdown. I mean, so if you mint 3 or more Jolly Jokers, you get access to the $50,000 prize pool, which is the biggest one. And then if you mint 6 or more, you get access to the touchdown, which is $20,000 in prizes. And then it all adds, right? So if you mint 6, you'll end up with 8 total entries. You'll get 1 entry into the touchdown because it's single entry. 1 entry into the field goal because it's single entry, and then 6 into the extra point.
Yeah,
so and I think 8 total. And I think these are gonna, like, for the EV maxis out there, it's gonna look pretty good. I'm pretty sure. As we get closer, people are gonna realize that there's a lot of value there.
I know. I can imagine 2 people are saying like, "Wait, so if I'm in 6, I'm in a lower prize pool." But I'm assuming the thought process behind that is there's less people who are minting 6. So yes, it's only 20,000, but you're probably going against a third of the amount of people.
So that's correct. But it's also, you're in all of them. Right. So it's all in addition to, but yes. Yeah. That'll be the smallest prize pool. Like we've been talking internally. depending on how the numbers turn out, because we haven't determined payout structures yet,
Mhm.
but like there's a chance that the touchdown is like nearly a 100% cash rate. And like just by minting 6, like you automatically min cash and have
Yeah.
the chance to do more. Like depending on how many people end up doing it, or at least like I would guesstimate that no matter what, the touchdown will be like pay a high percentage of the people that end up in there.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I think like initially when people learn about it for the first time, they're like, well, I could just like pay the free Rumble one. And you're like, yes, you can. You can just do that. But I do think like thinking about how these prize pools are going to look, I imagine, and I don't want to speak for you guys. I'm sure you're still figuring it out, but it's going to run similarly to like, ooh, I lost my microphone. Can you still hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. I just can't hear you. It's my headphones. Sorry. I'm assuming it will run similarly to like a fantasy contest where typically somewhere anywhere between like 8 and 15% of the field is paid. I guess it's probably I don't know. I shouldn't speak for you in that sense, but I know the odds are going to be a lot better to cash in something like this than it is in the free contest week to week.
Yeah. Yep, and I would say for the 3 and 6, it might even be higher than the norm, just to again, yeah, we don't want to determine payouts until we know how many entries are in each, because it just doesn't quite make sense to do it that way. But yeah, it's gonna be fun, and like I think it's gonna bring in a whole different element of strategy too, right? Like even just week over week, if you're off to a good start, then you play a chalkier lineup to try and maintain your lead. If you're chasing, you want to try and get even more contrarian to try and level up against the field. So it's going to be fun. I think this is happening hopefully next week, but I'm trying to record a podcast where I host Justin and John and do like a Rumble strategy guide with the two spreadsheet geniuses, and kind of talk through all of this stuff. So I'm working with them to try and organize that, because I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I think that I mean the more content around it too, the better. I think when it comes to like the strategy around building, I think it's always part of the fun for it. One other thing too that I know we had talked about a long time ago, I think, and I know it's probably not happening now, but in the future, something that I could see is pretty cool, because they do have the option when they mint to select sub community, correct?
Correct.
So yeah, and I would think maybe down the line in the future, if we're having specific Rumble contests, there would be ways to do ones within communities and stuff like that, which I think is
absolutely
will be a pretty neat wrinkle to all of it.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think the whole like for me personally, I love the idea of like leaderboards and tracking that stuff, and like, it's fun to try and win money, obviously, but it's also fun to like compete against other people and like get to know, where people are at. Like that's the vision of what we hope comes out of this. Right? Is like you start to recognize usernames, and you're like, oh, that's the person that won the touchdown. Like they're a whale, or like, oh, this person won the whatever. So, I think we kind of had those vibes back in TOC last year. And I think we'll hopefully generate something similar as we get more and more of these Rumble contests out there.
Yeah, the smaller community aspect of it was a lot of fun. Speaking of TOC, that was kind of cool, where it was the same. I don't know, because everybody get into 3 lineups, so I don't know. It's probably like the same 500 people, or right? Yeah, like 400 or 500 people that were in each contest. So you really get to see like the similar names up near the top, and that was a real good time. We really enjoyed that. So looking forward to something similar. There was a couple comments I want to share. I know Borland said earlier, any truth to the rumor that minting 6 of them gets you a special meet and greet at Coop's house?
Hey, if that's going to motivate you to mint 6, yeah, I'll sign Coop up for that.
Satish had a question. Is this going to be capped at 5K, or is this something that like would be revisited later down the road?
Yeah, no, definitely only 5,000 Jolly Jokers. We would never add to the supply after the fact. So these are our 5,000, the only 5,000, and that's what we're going with.
There's one other in there too. Rasmus asks if it's possible to change the sub community. So say you bought one on the secondary market, which I should probably ask you about that as well. If you want to, because I know the secondary market's not going to initially be available, right? That is something that's going to be a few weeks later.
Correct. Yep. So first question, yes, you'll be able to change the community post mint.
There you go.
In your OTM profile. And 2, yes, there will be a secondary marketplace to trade the Jokers on in the future. It won't be available right away. We're talking with a couple of the marketplaces that will maybe host our Jokers on their platforms. So
Nice.
we'll have that
Um,
coming for sure.
I also saw, so I don't know, this is breaking news here. We've got a parallel Rumble contest presented by Boom Fantasy this week.
Oh,
That just hit
yes.
my inbox.
We do. Okay. Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun.
So, yeah, we're doing, so one thing that we're, just experimenting with a bit with Rumble is like having a sponsor
Yeah.
each week for the contest. I mean, we got to try and make it, you got to try and
Mhm.
get a little money every now and then, right?
I
Can't
like
do
it.
everything for,
I totally
for
understand.
nothing.
Thank you
So,
for being a presenting sponsor.
yeah. So, yeah, Boom Fantasy is sponsoring the contest this week. If you deposit $10 and enter one of their contests, there's going to be, it's just going to be offline, but we're basically just doing a separate leaderboard for everyone that qualifies, just
Yeah.
based on the score of whatever you have that week. There's an extra $1,000 in Boom cash up for grabs.
That's awesome.
So, and it like a lot of the other sites, it has the state restrictions and all of that. So you got to make sure that it's in an eligible state. But yeah, would love everyone to support and go out and make your Boom deposit, get into that secondary contest. And this is something that, again, like the future state of Rumble, we envision all kinds of things like this, where there's sponsored contests and private contests and community contests, and really building it out so that we always have the flagship weekly game, but then there's alternate options that go alongside of it.
There was another question that I feel obligated to share. Rad Dead asked if he can breed Jokers. I don't know if that is something you guys are looking to do.
Breeding is not on the roadmap right now, but
well, man, I'm excited. You guys must be ready to be at the finish line of the first of many races. Oh wow, Shapoopy, good to see you, Shapoopy, with the 420. Shapoopy, I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Good to have you in here. But you guys must be ready to just be at this point now. I know, like, having the hopes back in like September to have this up and running, and then to now be in October, you must just be ready to get out there. So I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, it's been a process. It's been, it is interesting to go through. Like, one thing that made me real, like, the ultimate cliche of like how early we are, but like building on Flow and doing this Dapper Wild integration, like from a tech perspective, made me realize how early we are, because it was super challenging. And like, it's so new that there's not really a ton of documentation or like use cases out there for how you get past these challenges, right? Like typically in code, you run into an issue, you Google it, and there's 1,000 forums that have had the same problem. You're like, oh, okay, this is what we do. That doesn't exist for Flow. Like, there's a couple. We actually, the guy Jacob from Emerald City, one of the really sharp Flow developers, talked with him, worked with one of the lead devs from the Flunks team. They helped us out. So like, A, it shows how early it is in the things, but then B, like, it was like we were able to source help from other people that have done this before, and just kind of shows, there's definitely the community here and people helping each other out. And that's been a fun aspect of it too.
Well, I think in the long run, just thinking about the TOC experience and, being on ETH, but I mean, being on Polygon, and then having to do all of those different things, and then to now being able to keep this in the same ecosystem where you guys operate for the most. You guys operate the most. It's going to make things a lot easier, I think, for onboarding, and then also for you guys, I would imagine.
It's so much easier. I mean, it's just like you literally go, you click connect wallet. Most of the time, it'll just connect it automatically because you're already logged into your Dapper in your browser. And then like you'll select how many you want to mint. You'll select your community partner. You'll hit mint. You'll get the standard kind of Dapper wallet pop up, just like you would if you're buying a Top Shot or an All Day.
Right.
You'll confirm the transaction and select your payment method, and then you'll have your Jokers in your wallet, and it'll be instant reveal. So as soon as you mint, they'll show up in your wallet. You'll see what Jokers you have, and
that's great.
It'll be fun.
Well, hit us with that mint date one more time, and then I'll get you out of here. And I again appreciate all you guys that are doing over there with OTM and with Rumble, and just how supportive you guys have been. So rooting for you guys.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So minting on Monday, October 17th, 1 p.m. Eastern time. If you're on the pre-order list, whitelist mint Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, and then public mint Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be continuing to get that information out. I think we're also going to be doing a a live stream tomorrow night. We're also
Nice.
doing another poker game tomorrow night. I know we had a couple of poker games back in the summer. That was fun.
That
So we're
was
running
fun.
another one of those back tomorrow night. So yeah, if you're not already, make sure you jump on into the Jolly Joker Discord. We can get you all situated there, get you signed up for poker, get you on the whitelist list or whatever you need to do. If anyone watching here is not yet on the pre-order or whitelist, definitely just pop into the Discord, tag Jolly Coop. He'll get you taken care of.
Okay. Shout out Coop.
It'll be fun. Yeah. Shout out Coop.
Coop's the best.
Coop's the man behind the machine here that makes a lot of stuff happen for us at MTM.
Yes. Well, thanks so much, man, for coming on, and good luck with the drop. I'm sure we'll have you back on. Well, I don't know. I feel like we have you on monthly anyway, so we'll get you back on here soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
All right.
Everyone,
Later, TJ.
Appreciate it.
Shout out at the OTM crew. Let me know. We have a channel in the Discord too that's banging around with the Jokers, so get in there if you haven't. But yeah, that's exciting stuff. I'm excited. It's funny. Obviously, look at shouting out me. We love to hear that. The premium, I've said this so many times because, not financial advice, but if you were planning on doing premium long-term anyways, then it's like a no-brainer, right? Because you're just paying like a one-time subscription almost. But I normally would not say I was going to mint a bunch of these, but that 3 mint Rumble contest with the 50K prize pool sounds a little spicy. So who knows? We'll see how many bad trading decisions I make. But yeah, so pay attention to everything that's going on with the Jolly Jokers. We love to see it. This is what we're going to do. I actually think, guys, since we talked a little all day and Shot Tank is tonight, I don't know. I'll hang for a few more minutes, but I think I'm going to get off the stream before the playbook announcement happens because playbook is at 1, and I think it'll just be easier for people to digest that on their own instead of me shooting the shit for 19 more minutes. But I don't know if you guys have any specific questions, throw them into the chat now. The other thing I'll do, in case you missed this morning, I'm going to plug our So Rare partnership that we're having. I'm dropping a link right now into the chat. We'll have more information on So Rare as their NBA game gets launched and announced. But if you haven't signed up for an account yet, use our link right now. It's free to sign up. But it gives us a little love if you sign up using our account. So I dropped the link there. I also put it in the show notes as well, so you can find it there. But Strictly Sports says, do they announce all the challenges today? They did that last week, I believe. So I'm curious. I'm curious if that's what they're going to do. What is Bandy's favorite human food? That's a good question. Probably cheese. He's a big cheese fan. Big cheese guy. He's a big cheese guy. TST just got a sponsorship as well. Goddamn no. They've the So Rare team has reached out to quite a few of us, I believe. And listen, we're looking forward to testing it out. That's all I'll say. It'll be fun. What kind of shampoo do you use? Another great question. Mostly Head and Shoulders. I thought we were going to get more football related questions, but I'm liking the direction we're going right now. So keep them coming. Keep them pumping, baby. I want more. I keep forgetting we got there's no London game this week. Okay. That's good to know. Are we in Germany? I am so pissed at the fact that we have what's it called? Washington versus Chicago this week. Runhorse.com. Wow, is that a real site? Let's go to runhorse.com live. Let's see what that looks like. Runhorse.com. This is free advertisement. All right, let's go. Speaking of coolness, runhorse.com. Let's see what this looks like. Selecting winners in horse racing is not rocket science. However, it can be quite difficult, baffling, and perplexing all at the same time. Picking winners in horse racing is known as handicapping. It is the art of selecting winners using all the information and statistics available. It's more of an art or a skill as opposed to a science. One thing is for sure, the people that win more often know what to look for when studying the racing form. This only comes with know-how and experience. Of course, a little luck is involved, and anyone who tells you that you don't need some luck when betting on horse racing is simply being dishonest. Look at this Run Horse. I want Run Horse, bro. I want a sponsorship, Run Horse. I want a sponsorship. Look at that reading, baby. No, Run Horse, to your point, though, I agree, but it's different. Like, I think Top Shot, like the fact that you're getting moments is pretty sick, right? You're getting specific plays. Totally agree with you. I think the difference is this is strictly a fantasy game. So if you are a daily fantasy sports user, it's kind of like having you're playing the fantasy game with the marketplace. So that's what we're looking at. There we go. What else we got? Picking losers on Top Shot is simply known as Poker Pro. Eric, nice. That was great. Always bet the Grace. I honestly have never bet on horses. Oh, you get promo codes too. Run Horse. I want a promo code, baby. I want a promo code, Run Horse. Come on, give me a promo code. Anyways, I hope that was fun for you. Now I feel bad. I hope that was good fun. I promise. I promise. What else? What else we got? Anything else you want to call it there? Run Horse, are you still there? Did I run you away? I'm sorry. I promise. Oh, picks are free. There we go. You don't need a sponsorship because the picks are free. Honestly, I'm back in Run Horse. Let's get Run Horse on the show. Let's do a horse betting show, and then let's make some goddamn NFTs. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk to my boys on Gaia. So Rare is kind of like DK Rainmakers, right? That's the vibe. Yeah, that's the vibe. Similar to that. What's on your tee? Oh yeah, shout out. This is I got this from an in real life event that I went to with our man Raptor News. It's called Round 21. Shout out Round 21. Shout out Jasmine over at Round 21. Good people. I went and watched the Giants game with them. Had a couple Brewskaroonies. Man, every time I say Brewskis, I'm thinking of Jeffrey Dahmer now from, that show where he kills a bunch of people. I just finished watching that. That is a grind, okay? Like, I enjoyed it, but holy shit, what a grind. I would have to get liquid first. Yeah, that's true. We all didn't you just hit a Lego though, Daniel D? I saw you hit a Lego. All right, gang. I think we're going to call it there. 46 minutes of hot ass content. Good stuff, everybody. Thanks for being here. Shout out to Joker. Shout out TJ over to Own the Moment. Appreciate everyone being here. We're back tonight with some Shot Tank on actually Jeb Bush. Then we get some hoops tomorrow. I'm going to drop the link one more time for that. So rare-ish. We're going to do that. Definition of a bad vibe, good show. Yeah, I totally agree. Drivers NFT says, I need my own TV show. I agree. You know what? I would argue we already have one. However, no one has to pay for it. Yeah, the tank's on, Groat. The tank is on. Do you have gray in your beard? Yeah, I do, Regulator. I do, and it's bumming me out. All right, we're going to call it. I hope everybody has a great day. We'll see you all tonight. Get in the Discord. Follow just all the links in the show notes. We out.
Well, the Top Shot streets are a dangerous place, so